how much of your data is actually being used to target you for political campaigns? You probably are thinking that it's a lot. You're like me, at least before I read this article I'm about to show you. If you're like me, you probably thought, oh, yeah, they got tons of data on us. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we can do. I would be wrong on both counts. It's not tons of data. That's an understatement. The amount of data that they are able to accumulate, to cross-reference, goes far beyond anything that I probably I would have imagined, and I'm kind of technically savvy. Like I've been doing the ad tracking game for years, for over a decade, and I had no idea. I really did not. I did not realize the extent that they're able to track you. Just as an example, and I'll pull up this article for you all to see. Just as an example, and you can find this article. This is from Thorin Klosowski over at EFF.org. We have it published with cross-posted with permission over at discern.tv, titled "How Political Campaigns Use Your Data to Target You." Just as an example of how bad it is. If I were to say, okay, so they track you, they track your phone, location. They know that if you signed up for a text message from candidate A and you clicked on a link, and now they're tracking you everywhere you go, right? So they can track you to your home. That's not going to surprise any of you. But would it surprise you if I told you that then they can cross-reference your internet, cross-reference your location, and start targeting you with political ads on other devices within your home? That's probably not going to surprise all of you, but it should surprise some of you. In other words, they've got your phone, now they got your iPad, they got your smartphones or your smart TVs, they got everything. They could start hitting you up on any device that's connected to the internet, which is pretty much all of them, with ads based upon just one little connection that you made on your phone. It's astounding the degree to which they are able to do this. And they've been doing it obviously for a long time, but it's just gotten much, much, much better. According to this article, how those voter records and much more lead to targeted digital ads. They accumulate voter records. They share them, okay? It's all very perverse, the amount of debauchery they're committing with your data. You sign up for some candidate's email list in 2016, and all of a sudden you're getting emails from a different candidate in the same district in 2024. Why? Because you signed up so long ago and you didn't read all the fine print or text messages or whatever. Okay. The only thing that's really changing the cookie aspect of it. But let's read a little bit further. So they got your data. Now let's see how they target you. All that real-world information is just one part of the puzzle these days. Political campaigns tap into the same intrusive ad tech tracking used to deliver online behavioral ads. We saw a glimpse of how this worked after the Cambridge Analytica scandal, and the system has only grown since then. Specific details are often a mystery, as a political advertising profile may be created by combining disparate information from consumer scoring data brokers like Axiom or Experian, smartphone data, and publicly available voter information into a jumble of data points that are often hard to trace in any meaningful way. A simplified version of the whole process might be something like this, and this is the part where you listen up. Well, the next part is where you really listen up, but here's what they say. Number one, a campaign starts with its voter list, which includes names, addresses, and party affiliation. It may have purchased this from the state or its own national committee, or collected some of it for itself through a website or app. The campaign then turns to a data broker to enhance this list with consumer information. The data broker combines the voter list with its own data, then creates a behavioral profile using inferences based on your shopping, hobbies, demographics, and more. The campaign looks this all over, then chooses some categories of people it thinks will be receptive to its messaging in its various targeted ads. Finally, the campaign turns to an ad targeting campaign or company to get the ads on your devices. Some ad companies might use an IP address to target the ad to you. As the markup revealed, the markup is a publication, by the way. You can get all these links over at discern.tv. Other companies might target you based on your phone's location, which is particularly useful in reaching voters not in the campaign's files. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, so no big deal, right? They're just checking to see if you're Republican or Democrat. Are you likely to vote? Are you not likely to vote? And stuff like that. No. The data that they're collecting and the inferences that they're making based upon the data, That's the real key. This is the part that is astounding to me. For example, they might have you situated. Is this person a QAnon member? Believe it or not, do they oppose or approve of right wing militias? What about inflation? Whose fault is it? Is it Joe Biden? Is it Donald Trump? Is it Republicans? Is it Democrats? Is it China? Is it corporate America? They have these inferences, as they call them, that are based around where you search, what you search for, what you're visiting, websites that you go to, apps that you download, people that you talk to. They say that they don't do that, but they do. They do. Is this person a likely electric vehicle buyer? Does this person believe in man-made climate change? How do they treat Amazon workers? What in the world does the treatment of Amazon worker have to do with voting? Apparently, a whole lot, because they're spending a whole lot of money in the tune of billions of dollars to be able to try to collect this data and use it to target you with the right ads. Now, the part that I wanted you to listen to is how do you stop it? And thankfully, Thorin over there at EFF has come up with a nice list of ways to do just that. Now, this first one I can't vouch for because I've never used it. It's called, he says, number one, install Privacy Badger. Considering how much data is collected just from your day-to-day web browsing, it's a good idea to protect that first. The simplest way to do so is with our own tracking blocker extension, Privacy Badger. And you can always go to privacybadger.org and check that out. Again, I'm not endorsing it. I've never used it. I use my own ad blocker privacy program app or web browser extension of my own, but you can check that one out. I probably will too, because I'm always looking for a better one. Number two, disable your phone's advertising ID and audit your location settings. Did you even know that you have an advertising ID on your phone? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Well, turn it off. Okay. Stop getting tracked. Go on. If you have an iPhone, go to Settings, Privacy and Security Tracking, and make sure that Allow Apps to Request to Track is disabled. If you have an Android, go to Settings, Privacy and Security, Privacy, Ads, and then select Delete Advertising ID. You can do the same thing with your going through your geolocation settings. Okay, what geolocation, what apps are allowed to track where you are. Now, there are many, many of us out there who rely on, you're probably among them, who rely on your phone or your car or whatever for GPS. In other words, to get around, to get from point A to point B, use GPS. If you can avoid it, do so. Okay? I have, unfortunately, I'm not very good with directions. If I were, I would probably disable it forever, completely. No location tracking whatsoever. Unfortunately, I'm not that talented, but I do have maps, and if you are preparing, if you are a prepper of any sort, and even if you're not, then you should be. But if you're preparing of any sort, don't rely on your GPS for long. I mean, be ready to whip out maps of your local area, your city, your county, your state, the nation, multiple maps, topographical maps, everything that you can get a hold of. You should have a stack of maps this thick, physical paper maps, folded up and nicely secured in your bug out bag. But in the meantime, do what you can. Minimize the number of apps and the type of apps that can track you, your location. Number three, opt out of tracking on your TV or streaming device and any streaming services. Did you know that you are being tracked? Did you know that you can opt out? Some states are actually allowing, forcing that to happen. But don't sit around and wait. Oh, is my state good? Is my state bad? Just pretend like they're all bad and do the opting out yourself. And again, you can go in there. There's a nice guide over at Consumer Reports, as a matter of fact, that shows you how to do it, as well as Apple and where's the other one? Tech Hive. And you can get to all these links by going to discern.tv and finding this article. Number four, don't click on links in or respond to political text messages. Number one, why are you getting political text messages in the first place? Okay. Some of them might be semi-useful text, but for the most part, they're just going to ask you for $1, $2, $5, $10, $15, or $25, right? So just opt out. I remember I actually signed up in 2018 for some, and that was a big mistake. Opted out of those as quickly as possible. Some of them even crept back up in 2020, unfortunately. But yeah, even if you do get text messages, don't click on the links, okay? Don't respond. It's just another way to track you. Number five, create an alternate email and phone number for campaign stuff. And it's not just for campaign stuff. I use I have a Google Voice number that I use. It doesn't actually ring anywhere. Okay, if anybody calls that number, I'm not going to get it. It's just so that if they need to send me a text message to verify that I'm here, there, or whatever, so be it. Same thing with an email address. Throw away email address. Throw away text number, phone number. That's the best way to go, and not just for campaigns, but for to prevent tracking across the board from other people for marketing purposes. Number 6, keep an eye out for deceptive checkboxes. In other words, they have these check boxes. Oh, you want to support this candidate? Great. How much do you want to support him for? Here's the default $25. Oh, good thing you checked the checkbox and switched it to 2 or none. Yeah, and there's this new one. I don't know. It's not really new, but it's one that I was surprised to see because, especially on political campaigns, because these I thought it was illegal, but apparently there's the checkbox opt in. In other words, the checkbox is to like if the box is checked, it's to opt out of receiving something. So people go through like me. Maybe they're not reading the. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. They uncheck the box, and now by unchecking the box, they're opting in to receive something. It's crazy. Just be careful. Keep an eye out for those deceptive check boxes. Mind your social media. Look, I'm not going to rip on. Here's the thing. If I didn't have to be on social media for the sake of journalism, I wouldn't be. Call me a privacy guy. Okay, I can count on one hand the number of times I posted pictures of my kids on social media, and usually, like it's not even a picture of them necessarily; they're in the picture. I have a picture from a decade ago, or a video a decade ago of my daughter at the range, just killing it with a 380. Right? Can't even see her barely. Okay, it's you can see the back of her head and the gun. That's it. Okay, she doesn't have. There's no. I don't get it. I don't understand people that post pictures of their kids, but so be it. Some people like to do that. Whatever. Either way, do a privacy checkup on there. Make sure that you are opting out of personal ads on Facebook as much as possible. On Twitter, some sites like TikTok don't even allow you to disable behavioral ads, but they also don't allow political ads. Period. And why are you on TikTok in the first place? That's just crazy. Check this out. Go to discern.tv and you can find this article. Again, it is titled How Political Campaigns Use Your Data to Target Youth by Thorin Klasowski over at EFF.org. Look, folks, things are getting really insane out there. You see it. You see the challenges with the money, the challenges with energy, challenges with food. The food supply is not only diminishing, it's also changing. They don't want us to eat beef, especially they don't want us to eat all-American pasture-raised beef. Well, we at wholecowstld.com, we believe that you can have your beef and eat it too. You can sustain and keep it long-term by going there using promo code TLD15 and get long-term storage beef. These are bags with 12 servings of ribeye, New York strip, tenderloin, sirloin, the good stuff. All sous vide and then freeze-dried, put into a Mylar bag with oxygen absorbers so that they can maintain a shelf life of up to 25 years without refrigeration, of course. So go to wholecowstld.com and get you some beef, a lot of it, as much of it as you possibly can. Use promo code TLD15 for 15% off at wholecowstld.com.